Hi everyone, welcome to Rachelpichleryoga. If we haven't met before, my name is Rachel. This is half of one of my dog's guests. We're going to be doing a nice full body flow today. If you have two blocks or block-like objects to use, that would be great, but you are going to need just a little bit of space to move, and let's get started. So let's begin today laying down. If you've got a couple blocks, just move them off to the side for later. And let's lay down. Bend your knees, plant your feet. And then I just want you to lift your hips slightly, tuck your tailbone under, and then rest your low back down again. And see if you can feel your low tummy kind of engage as you keep your tailbone tucked under. So your spine is nice and long here. If you'd like to just check in on your feet, they're going to be about hip width apart, and you can scooch them a little closer to your hips, maybe as close as you can get them to your hips. And then notice what your low tummy is doing again. Maybe you had to relax there for a moment and the low back is lifting slightly, the back is arching slightly. And then let's try to tuck that tailbone back under. Send your low back down into your mat. Rest your arms at your sides, palms facing down. And then we're gonna lift our hips slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Keeping your tailbone tucking under the whole time you lift, all the way until the chest starts to lift and you find bridge pose, but you still are slowly lifting the hips. Tuck your tailbone under. Feel the love through your back as you try to keep that tailbone tucking under. Maybe you're still lifting. Still moving slowly. And then once you've reached your peak, the top of your bridge, you're going to slowly, just as slowly as you lift it up, one vertebrae at a time, start to lower. Keeping that tailbone tucking under, and you might feel that low tummy activating just a little bit more. Keeping the tailbone tucked under all the way until your low back is the last thing to touch down. Nice, you guys. Once your low back does connect, relax. Maybe rock your knees side to side. Shake it out a little bit. You can start to pull your knees in towards your chest if you'd like. Rock it out. And then decide if you're going to roll over to one side or if you're going to rock yourself forwards. But we're going to come all the way into tabletop onto our hands and knees. So spread your fingers out nice and wide. Tuck your toes under. We're going to hover our knees for just a moment, like an inch, maybe less than that. See if you can feel the love through your quads and pull your belly button in. Shouldn't be too hard to feel the heat building. Take another inhale. And then with the exhale, lower your knees down. Rest on the top of your feet this time. And same thing, hover your knees just slightly. Push into your palms. Draw your belly button in. Breathe. Take another inhale. As you exhale, relax. Rest your knees on your mat. Tuck your toes under. Big inhale here. Exhale into downward facing dog this time. Maybe pedal your feet a few times, but just push into your palms. Let your head be heavy. You might even let your hips go for a sway side to side if it feels good to do so. Let's stay for just another breath here. Big inhale, big exhale. And use an inhale, start to look forwards. Exhale as you walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Take an inhale for a half lift. As you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach up, maybe look up. Maybe lift your chest a little more. And add a baby back bend here. Maybe bring your arms to either side of your ears. Take another inhale with the exhale. Let's fold all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Your left foot's going to come back into a lunge. Sink into your hips. If you've got blocks to use today, why not grab them? Place one on either side of your foot. We're going to stay on the ball of our back foot and then just straighten the front leg a little bit. You can drop your chest towards your knee as much as you'd like, or you could lift your chest higher. Just push into that front foot. Find the length through that front leg and maybe a nice stretch. Awesome, you guys. Bend your front knee back into your lunge. Sink into your hips. Take an inhale. With the exhale, can you bring your back foot to the top? Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, folding. Plant your hands again. Take your right foot back. Set up your lunge. Sink into your hips. Add your blocks or just use your mat. And then find the length through that front leg. Stay on the ball of the back foot. Push into your front foot, lengthen the leg, maybe lift your chest, lengthen through your spine, fold forwards if you want to fold over that front leg for a deeper stretch. Awesome work, you guys. Slowly bend your front knee again back into your lunge. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring your back foot to the top. Inhale as you lift halfway up. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing, adding that little back bend if you'd like at the top, or just stay standing tall. Pretend you're a pencil. Maybe you're a curvy pencil today. Breathe. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Start your journey down as you fold all the way. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Step your feet back into your downward facing dog. We're going to be bringing our feet together and slowly bending our knees. But you guys, keep your downward facing dog upper body. So you're going to be pushing into your palms and sending your chest towards your knees the whole time as you start to bend your knees, all the way until you're hovering them. And if your feet are together, squeeze your knees together. Push into your palms, send your chest back towards your knees. And then slowly lengthen your legs again. Lift your hips nice and high. Push into your palms. Slowly bend your knees. Bring your chest towards them. Nice, you guys. Lower your knees to a hover. Lower, lower, lower. And then inhale, lengthen your legs. Last one. Slowly bend your knees. We're going to lower them down all the way to the mat this time. Slow, slow, slow. And then once they touch, come up into your tabletop. Keep your knees together, but rest on the top of your feet. Sit on your heels. If you've got some blocks to use, have them close by. So once you're sitting on your heels, you can start to lean back. Maybe your blocks are behind you for some extra height, but leaning back just to float the knees a little bit to stretch our ankles. And maybe stretch the shins. Maybe you don't need to hang on to anything. You can balance, you can float, resting on the top of the feet. Nicely done, you guys. Slowly bring your knees back down. If you've got some blocks to play with today, just have them close by. Close by at all times. So we're going to be bringing our hands down. So you can have your hands on your mat or you can have your hands on your blocks. Bring your hands kind of under your shoulders though, depending on what height you want to use. If you've got actual blocks, you might have a couple different heights to play with, but whatever feels balanced, I suppose. From your tabletop though, just shake it out a little bit. We're going to be pulling our right knee towards the chest and then resting on the top of the toes. So you're going to lift your right knee towards your chest, lengthen the top of the ankle and rest on the top of the toes, or maybe it's the top of the foot. Your knee might not be that close to your chest. It might be more of a little hover of the knee. That's completely fine, whatever feels right for you today. And maybe your knee is fairly close to your chest though. And just stretch the top of the toes, the ankle. Easy peasy. bring your right knee back and try the left side. So lift the left knee any amount, maybe start a little lower and then go a little higher towards the chest. Breathe. Stretch those toes. Awesome, you guys. Let your knee come back down. If you were using blocks, move them off to the side. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, and find downward facing dog. Awesome, you guys. Take an inhale, look forwards. Exhale, walk your feet up to the top of your mat. As you inhale, lift halfway. Lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach up, maybe add your back bend. Hold it at the top for a few breaths. Push into your feet. Maybe bring your arms next to your ears. Take another inhale. With the exhale, fold all the way back down. As you inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Step back into downward facing dog. Bring your feet together. Push your chest towards your knees as you slowly, slowly lower them down. Super slow. Find that hover. Hold it there for a moment. How close is your chest to your knees? And then slowly touch your knees down. Flip to the top of your feet. Move your blocks back in. So, a little bit of playing around here with lifting our knees with lolasana. So you can do one knee at a time, as we just did, or you can try to lift both knees towards your chest. So, if you've got blocks, have them close by. Next to your knees. And then we're just going to try to lift either one knee at a time or both knees in towards the chest and rest on the top of our toes. So the higher the blocks are, the easier it will be to lift. If you're using your mat, it'll be a lot more challenging, but still great to try. So let's maybe start with one knee and then the other, resting on the top of the toes. And you can kind of play around here, you guys, by maybe lifting the knees higher and then maybe letting them come down a bit and then maybe lifting them back up and coming back down and taking a break at any time. Feel the core activating to hold your knees high, high, high. If you are going for that high knee activation, activate that core. You can play around with some different heights if you do have actual blocks that allow you to play around with different heights. Maybe try higher, maybe try lower, and just see what happens. Maybe you're able to float your feet. Maybe you're resting on the top of the toes, lifting the knees nice and high, and eventually finding your way back down. Move your blocks off to the side. Scoot your way back onto your mat, into your tabletop. Shake it out a little through your hips. Your toes, if you kept them on the mat for a bit there, you might feel some love through them. So let's tuck them under. You can bring your knees together, your big toes together, and find a toe squat. A nice little counter stretch for your toes. Soften your shoulders. And then maybe let your chin fall down towards your collarbone. Feel the length through the toes. The length through the back of the neck. Just you and your breath. Awesome, you guys, nice long hold in the toe squat. Hope you're still with me. Bring your hands down, come off of your feet, give them a nice little love tap, a little shake. Cross your ankles, have a seat. So if you do have a block to use, today we're gonna find a supported bridge. If not, you're just gonna do the same thing that we did at the start of class by lifting your hips up. But if you've got a block to use, again, maybe you have some different heights to play with. And we're gonna hold our bridge pose for a few breaths. So you can add your block right underneath your low back, underneath your tailbone. Find that sweet spot where you feel balanced. You may hang on to your block if it's on the highest edge and it feels a little wobbly. Support yourself. I want you to feel supported, so hang on to your block if you need to. If you are doing a supported bridge, you'll have the option to send your legs out long. If you are not doing a supported bridge, it might be a little harder to send your legs out long and hold your hips up in that banana shape. I don't encourage you to do that, so keep your feet planted and your knees bent. Your arms might be resting at your sides, or you might extend them above your head. And just take a few breaths. And if you did send your legs out long, you might start to bring your feet back to your mat, bending the knees. If your arms are above your head, you may also bring them back to your sides. And if you're on a block, slide it out. And slowly, as you tuck your tailbone, let your hips come down. All the way until your low back makes that connection with your mat. And then you can start to rock side to side with your knees. Giving your low back a nice massage. And you might hug your knees towards your chest. You may even cross your ankles. And if you can reach for your feet, you can reach for your feet, keeping your legs crossed. Maybe a few more rocks side to side, massaging the low back. Your knees may even start to make more of a circle shape, instead of going just rocking right side to side. But if you're crossing your legs here, cross them the other way. See how that feels. And maybe making some circle shapes going the other direction. Massaging the low back. And eventually letting your feet go back to your mat. Sending your legs out long, your feet out wide. Resting your arms at your sides with your palms facing up. And settling right into Shavasana. Letting go of the practice. Letting your body relax completely. And letting go of any effort that you're putting into your breath. Be still. Staying here for as long as you have time for today. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, namaste.